The rain drummed a relentless rhythm against the windows of their San Francisco apartment as I moved around the kitchen, preparing for a quiet evening with my husband, Michael. The soft glow of the overhead lights and the aroma of a simmering stew created a cozy atmosphere, a perfect setting for the intimate dinner we had planned. Michael was due home any minute, and I looked forward to our evening together, a rare moment of tranquility in our busy lives. As I set the table, my phone buzzed with a message. It was Michael, letting me know that his older brother, Ryan, was in town for business and wanted to drop by. My heart sank a little. I had been looking forward to some alone time with Michael. But Ryan was family, and I couldn't deny him a visit. I quickly replied, inviting him to join us. Ryan was a successful businessman, known for his serious demeanor and no-nonsense attitude. He had always been a pillar of strength in our family, focused and ambitious, often prioritizing work over personal relationships. At 38, he was unmarried and showed no signs of settling down, which puzzled and intrigued me. After a quick shower, I decided to change into my favorite dress. As I stepped into the bathroom, I noticed a small snag along the hem. Distracted and running late, I didn't realize the bathroom door was slightly ajar. Just as I was pulling the dress over my head, the door swung open, and Ryan stood there, frozen in surprise. Our eyes locked for a split second, and in that heartbeat, everything froze. I was caught in the act, half-dressed, and a rush of embarrassment surged through me. The dress slipped from my grasp, leaving me exposed. Ryan's gaze widened, a mix of surprise and something deeper flickering in his eyes. "Oh, I'm so sorry," he stammered, quickly turning away, but the moment had already ignited a spark between us. I hastily grabbed a towel, wrapping it around myself as I felt my cheeks burn with humiliation. The air was thick with tension, and I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. After I composed myself, I stepped out, now dressed and trying to shake off the embarrassment. Ryan was in the living room, pretending to browse his phone, but I could feel his lingering curiosity. The atmosphere had shifted, and I couldn't help but feel a strange thrill at what had just happened. Michael arrived shortly after, and the three of us settled into an easy conversation. But beneath the surface, I was acutely aware of Ryan's presence, the accidental encounter lingering in the back of my mind like a secret waiting to be explored. Dinner was a lively affair, filled with laughter and light-hearted conversation. Yet I found myself hyper-aware of Ryan's every move, my eyes drawn to him more often than I cared to admit. His serious, businesslike demeanor had softened, and he seemed to take a keen interest in me, more so than usual. As the evening wore on, I noticed the way Ryan's gaze lingered on me, the subtle changes in his behavior. He was more attentive, his laughter more genuine, and his attention unwavering. The accidental glimpse had created an unspoken bond between us, a bond that hung in the air like electricity. Michael, oblivious to the tension, chatted animatedly about his work and the upcoming business trip he had planned. I listened with half an ear, my mind preoccupied with the events of the evening. The accidental encounter had stirred something within me, a feeling I couldn't quite define. As the evening drew to a close, Michael stepped out to take a phone call, leaving me alone with Ryan. The tension between us was palpable, a living thing that filled the room. "That was unexpected," Ryan said, a smirk playing on his lips, but his eyes betrayed a deeper, more serious emotion. I swallowed hard, feeling bold. "It was, but honestly, it made me realize how little I've felt truly seen lately." The admission hung between us, charged and vulnerable. Ryan stepped closer, his voice low. "I get that. Sometimes, it takes a moment like that to reveal what's been hiding beneath the surface." Our eyes locked, and in that instant, the world outside faded. The boundaries we had maintained were crumbling, replaced by an undeniable connection. As I reached for my glass of wine, our fingers brushed, sending a jolt through me. I could feel the pull between us intensifying, a magnetic force that made it hard to breathe. That night, I lay awake, replaying the events in my mind. The accidental exposure had opened a door I never intended to explore, leaving me questioning everything about my life, my marriage, and the unexpected connection I felt with Ryan. The storm outside echoed my turmoil, and I knew that whatever path lay ahead would lead to a reckoning I could no longer ignore. The days that followed were filled with a mix of guilt and anticipation. I found myself thinking about Ryan more often than I cared to admit, the memory of our encounter lingering in my mind like a forbidden secret. Despite my best efforts to focus on my marriage, the spark that had been ignited refused to be extinguished. Ryan began flying into town more frequently, citing business as the reason for his visits. But each time he arrived, we found ourselves drawn to each other, the connection between us growing stronger with each meeting. Our encounters were filled with stolen glances and lingering touches, each moment a testament to the unspoken bond we shared. We started meeting in secret, finding solace in each other's company away from the prying eyes of the world. Our conversations were filled with laughter and shared dreams, a refuge from the pressures of our everyday lives. But beneath the surface, there was an undercurrent of tension, a reminder of the forbidden nature of our relationship. The intimacy between us grew, a slow and beautiful dance that unfolded in the quiet moments we shared. We spoke in veiled words, our conversations filled with double meanings and hidden desires. Each meeting left me feeling both exhilarated and guilty, the thrill of our connection overshadowed by the knowledge of the line we were crossing. As the weeks passed, I found myself looking forward to Ryan's visits with a sense of longing. The moments we shared were filled with a tenderness that I had never experienced before, a connection that transcended the boundaries of our circumstances. Michael, unaware of the secret meetings, continued with his own business trips, leaving me with more opportunities to spend time with Ryan. The guilt gnawed at me, but the pull of our connection was too strong to resist. One evening, as we sat together in a secluded corner of a cafe, Ryan reached for my hand, his touch sending a shiver down my spine. "I know this is complicated," he said, his voice low and earnest, "but I can't deny the way I feel about you." I nodded, feeling a mix of relief and fear. "I feel the same," I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. "But what do we do about it?" The weight of our secret meetings began to take its toll on me. The guilt and the fear of discovery loomed over me, casting a shadow over the joy I felt in Ryan's presence. Each time we met, I was torn between the thrill of our connection and the guilt of betraying Michael. Ryan, too, seemed to feel the weight of our secret. His usual confident demeanor was replaced by a vulnerability that I hadn't seen before. "I don't want to hurt you," he said one evening, his voice filled with concern. "But I can't stay away from you." I nodded, understanding the complexity of our situation. "I know," I replied, my heart aching with the weight of our choices. "But we can't keep doing this." Despite our best intentions, we continued to meet in secret, unable to resist the pull of our connection. Each meeting was a reminder of the love that had blossomed between us, a love that defied the boundaries of our circumstances. The tension between us grew, a storm brewing beneath the surface of our seemingly ordinary lives. We both knew that something had to give, but neither of us was ready to face the consequences of our actions. One evening, as we sat together in a park, Ryan turned to me, his expression serious. "I think we need to tell Michael," he said, his voice firm. "It's not fair to him or to us." I nodded, knowing he was right. But the thought of confessing filled me with dread. How could I tell Michael that I had fallen in love with his brother? The thought of hurting him was unbearable. But Ryan's words echoed in my mind, a reminder that the longer we waited, the harder it would be. I knew that we had to face the truth, no matter how painful it might be. The day of the revelation arrived, and I felt a sense of dread wash over me. I had spent the night rehearsing what I would say, but the words eluded me. How could I explain the complexity of my feelings to Michael? Michael and I sat down in the living room, the air thick with tension. I took a deep breath, my heart pounding in my chest. "There's something I need to tell you," I began, my voice trembling. Michael looked at me, his expression a mix of confusion and concern. "What is it?" he asked, his voice gentle. I took another deep breath, gathering my courage. "I've fallen in love with Ryan," I confessed, the words tumbling out in a rush. "I'm so sorry, Michael." I never meant for this to happen. Michael's expression shifted from confusion to shock, and then to a deep sadness. I see, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. And what about us? I felt a pang of guilt and regret. I don't know, I admitted, my voice breaking. I just know that I can't keep living a lie. The silence that followed was deafening, the weight of my confession hanging in the air like a heavy cloud. Michael looked away, his gaze distant, as if trying to process the information. Finally, he spoke, his voice filled with resignation. I need some time to think, he said, his eyes meeting mine. But thank you for telling me the truth. The days that followed were filled with uncertainty and emotional turmoil. Michael and I avoided each other, the tension between us palpable. I spent my days in a haze, my mind racing with thoughts of what might happen next. Ryan and I continued to speak, our conversations filled with a mix of hope and fear. We both knew that the future was uncertain, but we were determined to face it together. Michael, meanwhile, took some time away, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I felt a deep sense of loss and regret, knowing that I had hurt the man I had once loved. As the days turned into weeks, I found myself reflecting on my choices and the path that had led me to this point. I realized that I had been living a life that wasn't truly mine, trapped in a cycle of expectations and obligations. The revelation of my feelings for Ryan had forced me to confront the truth about my marriage and the person I wanted to be. It was a painful process, but it was also a necessary one. Eventually, Michael returned, and we sat down to talk. The conversation was difficult, but it was also cathartic. We both acknowledged the issues in our marriage and the need to move on. With a heavy heart, we decided to separate, agreeing that it was the best decision for both of us. It was a painful ending, but it was also a new beginning. As I packed my things, I felt a sense of relief mixed with sadness. I knew that I had a long road ahead, but I also knew that I was finally on the path to finding my own happiness. Ryan and I decided to take a step back, giving ourselves time to process the events of the past few months. We both needed time to heal and to figure out what we wanted for our future. During this time, we continued to speak, our conversations filled with a newfound honesty and openness. We talked about our hopes, our fears, and the love we felt for each other. As the weeks passed, our bond grew stronger, and we realized that we wanted to be together. We decided to give our relationship a chance, knowing that it wouldn't be easy. We faced many challenges along the way, but we were determined to make it work. We sought the support of friends and family, and we leaned on each other for strength. Eventually, we moved in together, creating a home filled with love and laughter. It was a new beginning, a chance to build a life together. The journey was not without its ups and downs, but we faced each challenge with determination and love. We learned to communicate openly and to support each other through the difficult times. As time passed, we realized that we had found something truly special. Our love was a testament to the power of honesty and the importance of following your heart. And then, one day, Ryan revealed a secret that took us both by surprise. He had been struggling with his sexuality for years, and he had finally come to terms with the fact that he was gay. Ryan's revelation was a shock, but it also explained a lot about our relationship. We had both been grappling with our own insecurities and fears, and his confession helped us to understand each other better. Despite the initial surprise, I felt a deep sense of relief. Ryan's honesty allowed us to move forward with a newfound clarity and understanding. We talked for hours, sharing our thoughts and feelings. Ryan explained that he had always known he was gay, but he had been afraid to admit it. He had tried to deny his true self, hoping that he could make it work with me. But ultimately, he realized that he couldn't live a lie. He needed to be true to himself, and he needed to be honest with me. I admired his courage and his honesty, and I was grateful for the love we had shared. We both knew that our relationship had run its course, but we also knew that we had found something beautiful in each other. We decided to remain friends, supporting each other as we navigated the next chapter of our lives. It was a bittersweet ending, but it was also a new beginning. As we said our goodbyes, I felt a sense of peace. I knew that I had found a true friend in Ryan, and I was grateful for the journey we had shared. And as I walked away, I realized that I had learned a valuable lesson. Love is not always about romance. Sometimes, it's about finding someone who understands you and supports you, even when the path is difficult. The journey to healing was a long and difficult one. I spent time reflecting on my choices and the path that had led me to this point. I sought therapy, finding solace in the safe space to process my emotions and the trauma I had experienced. The sessions helped me to understand myself better and to come to terms with the choices I had made. I also leaned on my friends and family for support, finding strength in their love and encouragement. They helped me to see that I was not alone, and they reminded me that I deserved to be happy. As the months passed, I began to feel a sense of peace. I realized that I had made the right decision to leave my marriage and to follow my heart. The experience had taught me the importance of honesty, both with myself and with others. It had also taught me the value of self-love and the importance of putting myself first. Eventually, I met someone new, a kind and caring man who understood and accepted me for who I was. Our relationship was built on a foundation of trust, honesty, and mutual respect. With each passing day, I felt more like myself, more confident in my choices and the direction of my life. And as I looked back on the journey I had taken, I realized that I had found a new sense of purpose and fulfillment. The joy of new beginnings filled my heart as I embraced the next chapter of my life. I had learned to trust myself and to follow my heart, knowing that I deserved to be happy. The love I had found with my new partner was a testament to the power of honesty and the importance of being true to oneself. We built a life together, filled with love, laughter, and shared dreams. Each day was a new adventure, a chance to explore the world and to grow as individuals and as a couple. The journey had not been easy, but it had been worth it. I had faced my fears and my insecurities, and I had come out stronger for it. As I looked back on the past, I realized that the love I had shared with Ryan had been a beautiful part of my journey. It had taught me the importance of honesty and the power of love in all its forms. And as I looked forward to the future, I felt a sense of excitement and anticipation. I knew that there would be challenges ahead, but I also knew that I had the strength to face them. The love I had found was a reminder that life is a journey, and that sometimes, the most unexpected moments can lead to the most beautiful outcomes. And so, I embraced the joy of new beginnings, knowing that I was finally on the path to finding true happiness.